Another boost. Oh, there we go. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. I'm Ginny Robertson, one of the hosts of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, and I'm also the founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. My guest today is vibrant speaker coach and manifesting clients mentor, Kathryn Yarborough, and we'll be talking about get out from behind the wall. Welcome, Kathryn.
Thank you so much, Jenny. As always, I love being here with you. Oh, hold on one second. I was doing my best to get over here and share this thing, and it all went off. So pardon me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, before we dive into our topic, I want to tell our viewers more about you. As a vibrant speaker, coach, and manifesting clients mentor for women entrepreneurs, Kathryn Yarborough teaches her clients how to become engaging, expressive, and impactful speakers who attract clients. She's the founder of the Manifesting Clients Academy, an inspirational speaker, and the best-selling author of Keep Moving Forward, a guide for the on-purpose solopreneur. So, Kathryn, you say that you're a vibrant speaker coach. So share with our viewers what that means and what inspired you to become one.
Oh, wow. Well, I made up the title. I've done that for practically every title I've had. But I made this title up because it actually, I think, fits what I'm doing now. What it means to me is that I am providing training for women entrepreneurs who want to use speaking to attract clients. And it's to be vibrant. Here's the thing. There's a few things that we need to do in order to use speaking to attract clients. And one of them is to unlock our authentic vibrancy, to be the fullest expression of ourselves so that our unique vibration comes through when we're speaking. And when that happens, people are more vibrant than what they had been in general. What I've noticed, and this is one of the reasons why I decided to go this route, one of the reasons, is that a lot of times as grown-ups, we sit still or we stand behind the podium when we speak, or on Zoom, we're like this and we talk, and our people's heads don't move and they don't use their body and they don't use gestures and their faces stay the same. And when we're still like that, who we really are is not coming through as fully as when we have reintegrated our bodies, our hearts, and our minds so that our energy and our nonverbals are in alignment with what we're saying, and it all comes through. So when I realized that I actually could help people make this transformation, and I had been witnessing people be still and not expressive, and it was hurting my heart, because I know that where this comes from is that we were conditioned as children to be good, to sit still, to be nice, to do what all the rest of the grownups were doing. And if all the grownups, where 95% of them are like this, everybody's going to do that because that's what we were trained to do. And so as a result, all of the nonverbal communication cues that we can give to each other to enable communication and getting along and back and forth are not happening. And it just hurts my heart to see that. And so when I realized actually in December, it's a really recent thing that I claimed that I'm a vibrant speaker coach. Because I realized
a vibrant speaker coach before you were a vibrant speaker coach, right?
Unconsciously, I guess. Yeah. Maybe I was role modeling some things, but yeah, I decided to make a left turn in my business, and delighted that I'm doing this. This is really the first time that I've claimed a title, like really claimed it, in years, because I was doing manifesting clients coaching, but just doesn't feel right. Now I call it vibrant speaker coach and manifesting clients mentor. That works. The combination makes me happy.
Yeah, I like it too. So our topic today is get out from behind the wall. So what do you mean Like, what kind of wall are you talking about? And have you ever felt like you were behind one?
Yes. So the reason why I suggested this topic is because I think a lot of us entrepreneurs hide. Maybe we're hiding on the sidelines. Maybe we're hiding behind a wall, but we're not putting ourselves out there. We're not going out to get speaking gigs. I mean, in the On Purpose Woman Global community, and I know you can attest to this, there's, I don't know how many members, 80 something, and it's about the same 10 or 15 members who sign up for the 5-minute or 3-minute featured member spots.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah. So what's going on with the other 60 to 70 members? Are they hiding behind a wall? And why? What does that wall look like? What is their experience of it? And I can't speak to that right now, but I can share my walls, what I've hid behind, or what showed up for me over the years. And I actually was, as I was preparing for this interview, I realized there used to be a kind of wall that I experienced, and now there's different walls. So I'd love to dive into all of that, if that makes sense.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay. So, well, before we do that, maybe, Ginny, also, maybe it makes sense for us to talk a little bit about why it matters, like why we want to not hide behind a wall. I just want to make sure people feel the motivation. Like, what happens when someone actually comes out from behind the wall?
Okay, let's do that. And then maybe along those same lines, you could talk a little bit about how do people know they're even hiding behind a wall? Because it may not, your terminology may not be something that they necessarily relate to. Like, well, what does she mean by I think I'm out there, I go out and I see people and I talk to clients. So talk a little bit about that in the whole context as you talk about, why it's important to get out from behind that wall.
Okay. Yes, because wall really is just one way of looking at it. And one of the things that I've realized is that my ideal clients, often they are entrepreneurs, and they usually have some sort of service that they want to let people know about. And they don't feel like they're being seen by enough people. And when we don't feel seen by enough people, it's usually because we're hiding somehow, whether it's behind a wall or under a rock or wherever it is, in our own little offices, behind the computer. I don't know. But it's a metaphor for actually not getting out there, not being seen. And I'd be curious, for anyone who's listening or watching this, I'd love to hear your comments or read your comments about what your experience is. When we come out from behind the wall, more people see us. So part of this does depend on what kind of business we have, Jenny, because I think some people's businesses, it's perfectly fine to grow the business either by going to networking events and having one-on-one conversations that way, and just building relationships, and you meet your ideal clients and that you start working with them, and you don't have to come out from behind anything. That's just what you do. You don't have to speak to larger groups. You don't have to get on Zoom calls. You don't, or like create your Zoom events. You don't have to do any of that. You just connect. Some people's businesses grow great through word of mouth. So they just need to build relationships with people who will refer to them. So again, they don't need to come out from behind anything unless they're not building those referral relationships.
Right.
So if you're not doing those things and they're important to your business, you got to do them. And then others of us, like me, I'm called to speak. I'm probably a pretty okay to good speaker by this time, and I'm on the trajectory to becoming a great speaker. That's my goal, Jenny.
Well, I think you're more than what did you say? A pretty good?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I think you ought to start a little bit higher when you start talking about yourself, Kathryn. So
okay. All right. Well, I'll take positive feedback anytime. I appreciate it. Helps me to learn and grow. But anyhow, so some of us if we get out in front of larger groups by speaking, and that could be at an On Purpose Woman Global Community meeting, there's opportunities to speak in different ways. It could be in your Facebook group. You do Zoom lives in your Facebook group, or just a regular Facebook Live. There's all these different things that we can do. You can speak at a summit, or you can get an opportunity to speak at an in-person conference now that we're meeting in person again, or something. And when you do that, when you get in front of more people, then either your ideal clients are in the room, or people who might refer to you are in the room. And then you have opportunities for more people to come to know, like, and trust you and decide to work with you. So if we're not doing any of those sorts of things, if you're not, how are you actually attracting clients? Now, some businesses, I just want to say this, some businesses, it works with just ads or some sort of online marketing. It used to be you could attract clients with just Facebook pages and posting on Facebook, but it depends on your business. Mm-hmm. So if you need to get in front of people or want to grow your business, and you feel like you're hiding behind something, a wall or something, then join this conversation, talk to us, comment below, listen in, because I've had a lot of experience of hiding. And I'm coming out, world.
Do you want to talk about what one of your big walls was that you've managed to dissolve? Because you also say that we can dissolve our walls, right?
I believe so. Yeah. So when I first started my business, and I've known Ginny since I first started my business in 2001, and she may not have known this, but she might have heard me speak about it. I felt like I had a plexiglass wall around me. And I felt like when I talked about what I did, or wrote about it, or emailed about it, that I was jumping up and down like this behind this plexiglass wall, and nobody saw me, and they all walked by. I felt invisible, not seen and not heard. And it was for years, it was this frustrating thing it was my own internalization of my childhood experience of not being seen and heard. For those of you who get that sort of thing, you know what I'm talking about. When things happen in our families of origin, we translate them into our adult lives into some way or another. And I have to say that I think for me, being a member of Toastmasters and speaking at Toastmasters, and for anybody who doesn't know, Toastmasters is an organization where people learn how to speak, they get to practice, it's all volunteer run, and we get to take on leadership opportunities within the whole Toastmasters thing. It's really a cool organization. And I joined 4.5 years ago, and I would get feedback. And that feedback, it was more than good job. It was, you did this, and this well, and here's something that you can do better. And getting that feedback of, oh, so I was engaging? People would tell me I was engaging. Just yesterday, I did a presentation, and this may sound really, really crazy, Ginny, because here I am, a vibrant speaker coach, and I've been developing my skills for the last 4.5 to 5 years. I did a presentation that was 20 minutes. They're usually 5 to 7 minutes. So this was a big deal. And at the end, I got lots of feedback that I was exemplary at using stories, that the speech was it was great because I used so many stories. I didn't even realize, this may sound crazy, I put the whole presentation together, but until I got that feedback, I wasn't even aware that a lot of the stuff that I talked about would be heard as story.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
It's that kind of a thing, of that kind of practical, real feedback that's helped me to know I'm being seen, I'm being heard, people are getting what I'm saying. And so I know when I show up in a On Purpose Woman gathering, we don't give each other that kind of feedback, but now I know that people are having these kinds of experiences with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to go back just a minute to the plexiglass wall, because typically plexiglass is clear, right?
Mhm.
So people could see you.
I could see out, but they
It
couldn't
just felt
see
like
in.
you couldn't even see. It was a one-way mirror kind of thing, huh? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird because I could see them walking by, and if they could see me, they didn't see me.
Mm-hmm.
That was the experience that I had.
How did you start to shift that?
Well, so I mean, on a practical level, as I said, with Toastmasters, that helped me realize that I was being seen. Years ago, I started to shift it, I think, because I realized it was happening and I started to relate to the people. And I think that that's a thing that some of us need to do. I think that when I was behind the plexiglass wall, I was so into me, my stuff. You remember when I was a dance therapist, I didn't know how to speak the language of people outside of the plexiglass wall. And so when we realized that people on the other side are having their experience, when I realized that people out there outside of me are having their experience, and I learned, and I'm still learning this, Ginny, learning to go, well, what is their language?
Mm.
What are they experiencing? And even this, if I could have come into this interview with having had more conversations with my clients, because this is relatively new work for me, but if I had more conversations, and in fact, I probably had enough, if I had written down what my new client said, this is what I'm experiencing, I could have used those little anecdotes
Mm-hmm.
as stories, because that language, when we put ourselves over on the other side of the wall dissolves.
Well, I remember that, I remember when you showed up at On Purpose, and, you've talked about how you would come for a while, then you would go away for a while, then you would come back for a while. But I remember starting to see a shift in the way that you interacted with people.
Hmm.
Did you find that also made this whole interaction, well, how do I want to put that? Just the whole idea of networking, just a little less daunting? Like when you take the focus off of yourself and start to put it on other people, was it a little easier to come out? Did you feel like you wanted to go out a little bit more maybe, or?
Well, so I have a strong, very big need to be alone.
Mhm.
And I don't think I used to know how big it was. And I think I'm just really getting it now, how much I need unstructured alone time for my sanity. So going to a networking event, at first, I thought it was just because it was uncomfortable, because it was new and I was not very good at social settings. And now I would say I have some enjoyment when I go, because of the transition you're talking about, because of I'm going to say preaching, because it took me a long time to hear what you would say about look at the other person, get to know the person across the table from you. And so now I am curious, whether it's on Zoom and we're in breakout rooms or in person, there's a part of me that's going, oh, I need to say my stuff about me. But I think experienced enough to put that aside and go back to the place of, no, I'm here to get to know the person who I'm with. Let me ask questions and get to know them. And that dissolves the wall.
Yeah, it does.
And that works, Ginny, I think, as I'm even saying this, not just in one-on-one or a small group networking, but also when you're speaking from the stage. And this is a teaching I'm getting right now, everybody, so just know this, I'm learning this as we speak, and hopefully I'll remember it. If I remember that, yeah, I've got the stuff that I'm going to say, I present, I prepare, but if I can know that what I'm going to say and be comfortable enough with it, enough that I can be in the room and be curious about who am I in the room with.
Yeah.
That can dissolve the wall even more as a speaker.
Yeah. I know for me over the years, when I started to learn that years ago, that if I made it about more about the other person and I wasn't sitting there going, when do I get to talk about me? When I'm, that took a lot of pressure off me to
Mm.
actually have to have the perfect whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah.
someone said to me, and this was said to me more than once when I would preach that, well, what if I spend all the time listening to somebody else and they don't ask me anything about me? And I said, well, then they're not your people.
Mm.
Because I think there's this, well, if I'm going to spend time doing that, I need to tell everybody about me, but if we're telling everybody about me from that way, it's not the kind of telling them about us that you're talking about.
Mm.
You're talking about it coming from a different place than that, correct?
Well, I think so. Yes. So when we've dissolved the wall, there's an usness now.
Mm. Mhm.
And so there's a natural, and this, I'm learning this right now as we speak. There's a natural desire to want to say, oh, and I've got this workshop, or yes, so I do speak with your body sessions. I have a program, and some of you might be interested in it. And there's just a natural wanting to share something because there's an usness now rather than it's me and you and let me spout on you.
Let me tell you what you need from me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And it's a good thing we're doing, we're recording this, right? Because you maybe want to go back and see if you remember some of those pearls of wisdom you just came up with right here on the spot. I love it.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you, Jenny. Mm.
So let's say that somebody recognizes that they're hiding out, especially after watching you today. They recognize they're kind of hiding out behind a wall. Maybe they're peeking around the corner, but they're not really stepping out. But they see the value, but yet fear starts to get in the way. So how do you suggest people start to deal with that fear of being seen?
Right. Right. So we could be behind the wall because of fear. We could be behind the wall because we're obsessing about ourselves, like
Mhm.
I was just talking about. So there's different reasons why we might be hiding, whether we're hiding on the sidelines, behind a wall, or under a rock,
We don't
wherever.
think we're a good enough speaker yet, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
right. All of that. So a few things. One is I really love one of our community members, Laura DeFranco. She is all about being a courageous badass, and she talks about purpose-driven fear. And
Mhm.
I remind myself that when I have created a goal or intention to get out into stranger places, like unknown speaking opportunities, and the discomfort arises within me, because that's what it does. It arises within me, and I go, well, they may not like me, or what if they're weird? What if I don't like them?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah, it's not going to work. They'll say no. All kinds of stuff comes up for me when I recognize that in general is purpose-driven fear. And the way I think of it is that we have a comfort zone, and we have sheepdogs that want to keep us in our comfort zone. Those are the sheepdogs barking to keep us in. And when we step out or want to step out, it's uncomfortable. It is outside of our comfort zone. And so it's normal. It's just normal. So to recognize that is happening helps me, and to remember that it's normal. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to feel that fear, whether it's right before you get on a podcast, or right before you do a presentation, or right when you're applying for it, or wherever you feel it. It's a good thing because it's an indicator that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, which means you're going to grow. Whether you fall on your face and be a flop, or get rejected, or whatever, or you're wildly successful, or likely somewhere in between, that's where most of us are. You'll learn from the experience, because that's what happens.
And I also believe that once we just take even a step outside our comfort zone, we've expanded it.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you were a kid, did you ever blow up a balloon and let it fly around? And the balloon was never the same size after you blew it up. It never went back little again. I think our comfort zones are like that. We can never go back to that old way fully. We've expanded it, maybe just a minute little bit, but we have a bigger playing field now.
Yeah.
So the next time we do it, we'll step out even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next time, that's not what I want to say. The main reason we want to get out from behind our wall is so we can be seen and heard by more people. And we talked
General.
about,
In general,
yes,
yeah.
in general, we want to get our message out because a lot of us have great, unique messages and we want to serve people. We want to serve people. We can't serve people if we're behind a wall because they can't see us or hear us or feel us. And we talked a little bit about why that's important, right? To why do we need to get out from behind the wall? You have anything more you want to say about that or about anything else that we haven't covered yet about the importance of this wall work, if you will?
Well, it's interesting. Another one of our wonderful members in the On Purpose Woman Global community, I just feel so blessed by this community. Like, I just keep having wonderful experiences with members. This other one is Ellen Coronet, and we did her bubble mapping thing together. And what I loved about it was she took me through a process to recognize, well, what happened for me in her process was I recognized my journey was similar to what my ideal client's journey is. In other words, we're over here, feeling like we're hiding. We're feeling like we're behind a wall. We're feeling not good enough. We're feeling, is it ever going to happen? We're feeling, I don't know where my clients are. Oh, goodness, how am I going to find any place to get my word out? All that kind of stuff. And then we get clear about the desire to come out. And in this case, with my business, I teach people actually how to break free from their childhood conditioning so they can be authentically vibrant. And I support them in creating a presentation that their ideal clients would love. So we need to learn those things. And through this journey, we come out from the shadows, from behind the wall, developing the skills. Then we put ourselves out there. We do the Facebook Lives. We apply for the podcast. We get on interviews like this and on summits and in conferences and speaking. And our ideal clients find us and decide to work with us. And then we grow this amazing business. I mean, of course, it's probably more like this than just a straight, they're coming in, the ideal clients are coming in as we go through this process. But it's really cool. And this side feels a lot better than this side. So I guess the invitation I want to say in answer to your question is, come on, y'all, join me in stepping out more and more and moving across through this journey from the shadows to being the light. Because when you're over here, you're actually shining. Your light, and we talked about this the other day, that light can feel like love, it can feel like joy, it can be your brilliance, as another of our members talks about, Lilia Shoshana Ray. Your unique vibration can be coming out when you have traversed this path. And doesn't that feel way better than staying over here stuck?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that saying that I'd rather regret the things I do than the things I didn't, And so do you really want to be, I used to think, do I want to be on my porch at 70, rocking? I thought I'd be on my porch and rocking at 70. You know, just kind of lamenting, oh, I had that opportunity. I had an opportunity to start that networking group and I didn't know what I was doing. Wonder what would have happened if I'd done that, And I think that we can have that for so many things. But I think if I'd started it and it had bombed, I wouldn't be still, carrying that around with me and going, oh, I should have never done that. I would have been, wow, at least I tried it, right? So I'm a big fan of not having regrets, especially the older I get, because regrets take up a whole lot of energy.
So I just want to say something personal here.
Mm-hmm.
It's about my mother and me. My mother says more than any person that I know, well, if only I had created that business, or I was going to do a clothing shop, or I was going to do a restaurant, or if only I had moved back to Athens, Georgia, if only. And you saying that you intentionally were very clear that you didn't want to be a 70-year-old woman who was on a rocking chair going, well, if only, I mean, that was almost a healing moment for me, because having been around this woman who, I'm telling you, multiple times, probably once a week, I've heard that what if I had done this? What if I had done that?
It's
And
really sad, isn't it? It's
it
really
is.
sad way to spend those later years of just in regret. It's like, whoa, then you can't enjoy the moment at all. So I think that's a great message for everybody watching this today too. Is like, if you want to be out there, step out, get some help from Kathryn. Kathryn, tell everybody how you work with clients.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Jenny. I appreciate the opportunity. I want to say step out and join the On Purpose Woman global community, join us too. But yes, so the program that I created that I started doing actually just in December that integrates my movement experience with speaking, with attracting clients is called Speak with Your Body. And it's a 9-session program where we go through a process of you integrating body, mind, and emotions. And then, you blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get these words out. We use movement to do it, something called mindful movement. And then I also teach you to use a variety of ways of moving and integrate that with speaking. For example, fast, speaking really, really fast and moving really, really fast and seeing what that's like, and then slow and doing that. And it starts to it unlocks neural pathways because we created our communication pathways way early on in our life, and we've created grooves of communication and ways of speaking. To unlock them, this movement and speaking thing that I guide people through is unlocking those neural pathways. And so in 9 sessions, you can pretty much break free from the habit. It will still pull back on you depending on how strong the habit is, but it will not, just like the balloon, you'll never go back as strong, and you will have the tools you need to keep unlocking the pattern so you can really let your vibration out. And for those people who want to continue to work with me, I'm creating a couple other things where we'll work on their presentations in even more depth so they can get even better and keep developing those skills of expressiveness, or it's really reclaiming because they were all there already and we just disconnected from them because of our childhood conditioning. So it's just reclaiming who you truly are and letting it out when you speak.
So you're giving people the opportunity to go back to when they were like a bouncy 2-year-old. If they had, just a regular, some people had some trauma from a very young age, so they didn't even get to experience that. But 2-year-olds don't care what people think of them. They are just running around being them. And yet there's a point in time, for me, it was around 6 or 7. So I got to be that person for a while. So you help women especially to go back to that pre stage when they were feeling so much joy and really confidence as a little kid, right? And stepping out and just wanting to be seen and heard all the time. So I think that's so super what you do, Kathryn. And also you don't just take people through this process and then just say, okay, now go out there and do some stuff. You actually hold their hands a bit, teach them how to craft a presentation, get them to practice, all of that. So you really take them from almost through a complete program that will have them ready to go do something. And then they get to decide what that might look like or where they go do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And if you want to check it out, you can go to my website, which is manifestingclientsacademy.com, and then / speak with your body. And anyway, it's under there. And there's a button on this page where you can schedule a complimentary consultation. So if any of this speaks to you, let's have a conversation if you want to talk, and I'll let you know if I think it would be helpful for you, because I don't sell to people who I don't think I can help or make a difference for in some way or another. So, yeah.
So as we wrap up, tell me share a big piece of wisdom. It could be one that you've already shared, but if you could think of one thing that you want to leave everybody with today that you think is really important. Again, you could just be reframing or repeating something you've already said. What is it?
What's coming to me is stop hiding. And, it's probably as much for me as it is for anybody who's listening to this, quite honestly. Because if we are, to the extent to which I am hiding, to the extent to which you are hiding, Jenny, to the extent to which anybody who's watching this is hiding, we're not we're not moving forward on that path from hiding to shining our light. We're not being that person. And to the extent to which we're hiding, we may end up being that person on the rocking chair, wishing, like my mother, what if I had done this? And what if I had done that? And yes, it may take some bravery.
Mhm.
And if it's something that you're called to do, it's yours to do. If you feel like you're called, it is yours to do. So please don't hold yourself back. Step out, get out from behind the wall, and let's all do this together.
Yes, yes. And I do believe if it's ours to do, and the longer we don't do it, the less joy we're going to have in our life. And we're going to be that person. We're going to be that miserable elder, just not knowing what to do with ourselves at that point. So don't be that person, right? Step out. So I'll put Kathryn's information in the comments on the page so you can get her website and all of that and go check her out. And I just want to say that I want to thank you. Thank you, Kathryn. I think you've come up with an amazing program. I love how you support women to get out from behind that wall, because we have so much to share and so much good to do. And I do really believe we're the ones to make the shift and change the planet for better. So thank you. Thank you for that. And thank all of you for joining us for the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, live in the On Purpose Woman On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. If you love this interview and you want to share it with your friends, it will be on our YouTube channel in the next 48 hours. So go over to the On Purpose Woman global community on YouTube, subscribe and sign up for the notifications. You can also share it right here from this magazine Facebook page if you want to share with people on Facebook. Right now on our YouTube channel, there are probably close to 100 inspiring, informative, and fun shows for you to watch on our channel. Our next interview is coming up this Monday when I talk with Kathy Roberts and Venetia Bailey about Coming to the Table. Coming to the Table is an organization that gives people the opportunity to work together to create a just and truthful society that acknowledges and seeks to heal from the racial wounds of the past. They are co-leaders of the Montgomery County, Maryland Coming to the Table chapter. So I think it's going to be a really excellent interview. So join us for that. And thank you again for watching the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show.